First of all, my name is Denis Malone. I'm a senior planner with Kilkenny Local Authorities, and I want to thank you all, first of all, for coming. Can you hear? Everyone hear? For coming along tonight. It's the first of our public meetings in relation to the Kilkenny City and County Development Plan reviews. So, what I'll do is just for a few minutes, I'll give you introductions and the format of the evening, what a development plan is and what the process is. So, development plan, we have a team set up in the local authority. We have myself, Katrina Riley, Katrina Bambrick and Jane O'Reilly. So we're all here tonight, and you can talk to us at any stage during the evening after the presentations and so on. The format tonight will be two short presentations. So, as myself, doing the introductions, and I have the Borough Engineer here, Kieran Fitzgerald, will give us a short overview on. Kieran Fitzgerald, the Borough Engineer, will give a short overview of pedestrianisation, smarter travel. So we, after the presentations, we break into small working groups, and each of the groups will have a facilitator, and each group then will select a reporter, discuss the theme and the issues for the night for about 30 minutes, and then report back to the main meeting. And at the end of that, we'll have a little questions and answers session, and then some tea and coffee afterwards, just to keep your throats wet after all the talk. Tonight's theme then is smarter travel and pedestrianisation, and we picked that, I suppose, from previous experiences, what we had in previous development plans. There were general topics, and we said we looked at it, reviewed that from previous experience, and we said, look, we try and do a themed session for our public meetings this time to give a more focus to the consultation process. So the smarter travel, pedestrianisation is a hot topic, I suppose, around the city, in the sense that it's a long-standing objective for pedestrianisation of High Street and Kieran Street. It's been partially implemented. We had a one-way system trial in 2010, which didn't go very successfully, and it'll give a focus then to tonight's discussion, and other issues can be raised during the work session, so you're not limited to the smarter travel. What is the development plan? Well, these are the two covers. You have the documents there at the back of the room. You can take one of these away with you tonight, and that's just the covers of the existing development plans from 2008 to 2014. And what's the plan? Well, it should be strategic. It should set out a guidance for development for the next 6 years. And it's the main instrument that the local authority uses for planning applications. And it has an important role also then in the protection of the environment. So if you look through the document, you'll see a chapter on heritage, and there'll be policies set out there about the protection of the built heritage, natural heritage, and so on. And it gives, as I was saying, the spatial expression to the economic and social and cultural needs. So, where we want to place the new housing, where we want to place new schools if we need one, where we want to put our parks or playgrounds and so on. And part of the reason for this public consultation is we're trying to get people, the public, and the elected members, to buy into the plan. So the elected members will make the plan at the end of this consultation exercise. So it's important that everyone feels they have a part in their own ownership of the plan. And how does it affect you? Well, I said I've just gone back a little bit, back to the previous plan, the current one, 2002, and some of the objectives that we had in the 2002 plan. You can see that we have an objective to do a pedestrian and cycle route study to pedestrianise Kieran Street and High Street. We designated lands around the railway station for retail expansion. We had an objective about extending the ring road from Dublin Road to the Castlecombe Road, and we designated sites for retail warehousing. And then in the 2008 plan, we had other things. We had an objective to complete the River Nore Linear Park. We had an objective about mobility and traffic management for the city, and an objective for a new library at County Hall. So what has happened with those objectives? So you can see here just a few examples then related to the ones I discussed. This McDonagh Junction has been built, eventually got through the planning. We have, and as an example then, there was a recent application for an amusement arcade on High Street, in the High Street Mall, and that was refused permission on the basis of our policies and objectives in the current plan. And we have the Central Access Scheme, which the local authority was successful with on board Banana recently. Also, again, going back to the linear park, then we have the linear park is partially developed, so you can see going back to the 2008 and the 2002 plans, these were objectives that were in, and now they're starting to come to fruition. And we have the retail warehouse park developed off the ring road at Woody's. So, where are we now? Well, we have, current plan is 2008-2014, so that'll last until 2014, and we have to start the preparation of the new plan 2 years before the old one expires. So the new plan will take us from 2014 to 2020, and that process officially kicked off on the 15th of December, or June, just last Friday. And what's the process? Well, it's an iterative process, so we have a pre-draft stage, which is what we're at now. We have a draft stage and an amendment stage. And that has the same cyclical process in each one of those three parts. So we'll have a public display period, submissions, and then a manager's report. And that manager's report goes to the county council, county councillors, and it's the councillors then decide on the manager, what's the content of the manager, and whether to make the plan in accordance with the manager's report or not. So what we're at the moment is research, preparation of issues papers. We have the issues papers here tonight, and they're available on our website as well, and you can take a copy of those away with you. And then in the process of trying to the public consultation exercise is the process we're at the moment, and an awareness campaign. And the consultation period is set out under our legislation, so it has to be for a minimum of 8 weeks, and that's we've run it for 10 weeks there, from the 15th of June to 24th of August. This is the first, I said, of 7 public meetings. They're listed there, and there'll be another meeting in Kilkenny and the Parade Tower here on the 24th of July. And the other meetings are held at various locations around the county, as you can see there in Thomastown, Callan, Castlecomer, Graignamanagh, and down in Ferrybank on the outskirts of Waterford City. We also have a booklet there on a guide to making a submission, and that goes through how to physically make a submission, either in writing or over the internet. And so it's important that you have your say on policy development, like as members of the public. And it's important to stress, I would say that, the right policy gives you the right services in the right location. And, we're trying to encourage people to make their voice heard, and that it's important that you engage in the process. More information, you can phone that number there and ask either for myself or Katrina Riley or Katrina Bambrick, or you can email us at planning@kilkenny.ie. But I would encourage you to come to the dedicated website address there, and you can log on and register your details on that, and you'll be updated then frequently as the process evolves. You'll get updates. So, for instance, if you had registered prior to this meeting, you would have been sent an email about tonight's meeting. So with that, that's me finished for the moment, and what I'll do is I'd just like to hand over to Kieran Fitzgerald, and he'll give you a short presentation about the theme then for tonight's meeting.